This is going to be another 1v1 replay cast. My opponent is a Masters player. I checked his profile and he has roughly 1900 games played. So this is by far one of the best players that I faced in a while. And you might notice that this is Ohana. This is not a Heart of the Swarm map, because this is actually Wings of Liberty that I was playing on. I like to still play on Wings of Liberty occasionally because, one, it gives you an appreciation of the new meta in Heart of the Swarm, and also it's a little more relaxing. It's kind of like playing on Starcraft 2 on slow, like you know how we play on faster. It's kind of like reducing that game speed down to just fast, because there's a little less micro involved, there's fewer options for people to go, it's more predictable, it's just a slightly easier game overall. So after playing Heart of the Swarm over and over again, it can be nice to just play a couple Wings of Liberty games. Now I'm going to be leaving this on the first person perspective right after I turn the audio down. That's what that little beeping is. It shouldn't affect the recording, but it was a little loud in my ears. And I do a very similar build to what I do in PvT in Heart of the Swarm. Gateway on 13, Gas on 14, Pylon 15, 16, 17-ish, and then Cybercore immediately after, staying on this one gas, but instead of taking an expansion after getting the Stalker, I'm actually going to be throwing down a Robo. And the reason why is because in Wings of Liberty you don't have a mothership core, and without a mothership core you need a different way of defending yourself. So rather than being able to rely on the mothership core, we rely on getting 2 production facilities instead of just 1 production facility in the form of our gateway. That'll all be very interesting. Let's jump over, let's see what this guy's doing over here. Doing something a little similar, you know, 1 conservative gas, getting out a few Marines. Actually throwing a barracks over here, I'm not sure why. I guess this is because if I scout with a probe, I'm not likely to spot this, but I'm not really a big fan of probe scouting. But this sort of aggression from a Terran seems to be fairly common in Wings of Liberty, because it completely shuts down any sort of 1 gate expansion that I can be doing. If I don't get a second production facility, then I feel like I just die to any sort of 2 gate pressure. Let's see what he's getting. He's actually getting Marauder slow as opposed to stim, and I really like this because stim, if you see here, it takes just short of 3 minutes to complete, whereas this only takes 1 minute. Combat shield, just under 2 minutes. So any sort of aggression you want to put on, you can actually do much faster with a Marauder slow or a combat shield push. A stim timing is just, it's too slow in my opinion, and it's a big commitment. And you can see he's already moving out at the 5-minute mark, which would just not be possible with stim. And you can see I threw my Stalker out, as I always like to do, so that way I can spot any sort of aggression like this. So now I know that he's not going for a super early expansion, and I also saw that he didn't have that many units, so I just threw down my Nexus after, even though I saw his attack coming. I figured, you know what? This Nexus is going to be able to complete regardless of those half dozen units I saw. So what I chose to get with my Robo is an Immortal. And Immortal's going to be really good against those Marauders I see. Didn't quite manage to micro back the Stalker. But Immortals are still pretty good against low numbers of Marines, because I believe it takes 3 shots to kill a Marine, which is pretty good. I really should keep... I didn't keep him alive. If you saw, my Immortal and Stalker were actually shooting at different Marines. If I had focus fired right there, I might have been able to hold that off without losing your Immortal. It's really important to keep your gas-heavy units alive as a Protoss. It's also important to be spending your Chrono Boost. I'm not sure what my excuse is this game, except that my Nexus is a little slow. My Immortal, I'm saying, had a family. I was upset that I lost him. But it's really important. Oh man, come on, Achilles, spend your Chrono Boost, spend your Chrono Boost. Usually there's a different rhythm because you get that Nexus Master and you can just chrono out workers. But I'm a little thrown off already having big saturation here, so I'm not as motivated to chrono out workers. I thought that was funny. They'll get a pension. They'll get a pension. So now I threw down 2 more gateways. I'm also getting my Robo Bay. So this way I'm able to start Colossus after my first 2 Immortals. Now, if I'd been able to keep that other Immortal alive, I'd already have 2 Immortals, which would be really good for taking care of any Marauders, and I'll have the Colossus for any Marines. So a very solid way to deal with early bio. Am I spending that Chrono yet? Okay, spending it a little bit. I'll be able to start Thermal Lance once I get some minerals. Yep, there we go. There we go. Now, you really shouldn't chrono out Thermal Lance, because you rarely get Thermal Lance from a chrono faster from Chrono Boost and are actually able to use it. It's almost always better to chrono out your Colossus, which is what I'm doing, or your other production facilities. Chronoing gateways is actually very good to do if you're using them. And one thing I realized was I can't support Colossus, 3 gateways, and a Forge, which is what that was for upgrades. So I just went ahead and canceled the Forge. Usually I would already have ideal saturation here, so I could start being greedy with tech and throwing down Forges, throwing down my Twilight Council, but instead I decided, you know what, I want to be able to use these, because these gateways sat for a while without me using. Like even this one, like I still can't really use, because I'm close to getting Supply Bar. I have another pylon on the way, but I'm just cutting it close with what I'm able to get out. Wasting that Chrono Boost a little bit. But I'm just trying to get out a few Colossus, a few gateways, and possibly go for a timing, a Colossus timing, or Thermal Lance timing if you want to call it that. It always feels weird clicking on upgrades, because I'm expecting to cancel them whenever I do it, so I'm like, oh, don't click on it, don't click on it! But then I do, and it's okay. Now I'm getting that Forge, now I feel like I can maybe support some upgrades. I'm not taking this Gas Geyser, because like, I feel like I have enough minerals, or I have enough gas for the amount of minerals I have, so this would be oversaturation if I did that until I get more probes up. I've been keeping my probes as best I can, but still trying to get out a lot of army units. I see this coming, and I decide to move out right here. This was a big mistake though, I let my army get split up. And against a Terran, I think I've talked about this before, you don't want to split as a Protoss, you want to keep your units tightly balled. It's the Terran and Zerg that want to split their units. Protoss goes for positioning before the battle, and this was horrible pre-battle micro. I just moved my army, not paying attention to the terrain here, and my army got split up, which would have been great if I was a Terran, but horrible because I'm a Protoss. And I start pulling my units back here, because I'm expecting him to just run in and attack, but he doesn't feel comfortable attacking with this small pocket of units, but I think he really should have right here. I only had 3 Stalkers, I had another Colossus on the way, but there was no reason for him to back off right here. This was a bad move, in my opinion. He could have gotten a lot of damage done if he had just moved in. I'm not sure what his thought process was. But he's moved up to double medevac production, using this factory just to make reactors for his other production facilities, which is a good thing to do. But yeah, just straight bio, lots of Marauders, not too many Marines. You really don't need Marines versus Protoss. Like, you'd still want some, partly to, you know, discourage any sort of funky void switches, partly to kill off observers. You know, they still have utility. They still do a lot of DPS, but you want the meat of your army to be Marauders. We can see here 9 Marauders, and that was about 16 Marines, or yeah, 14, 16 Marines before he loaded them up, which is about right. That's about right. Adding on more gateways finally, and taking a 3rd. Yeah, I've got Templar Archives on the way. Now, that, those early Colossus you saw that I all lost, and all of the, and I spot his, third over here. Those early Colossus and early Gateway Bunch that I threw away to his army because I split them on the terrain. The way I'm able to get all that out is by sacrificing my tech right here, and also upgrades. You can see I'm not very well upgraded, whereas he has... Okay, he's only 1-1, and I am 0-1, so I'm not actually that far behind upgrades. I always feel like I'm further behind upgrades than I actually am, but we're doing okay. But yeah, I slow this down. Like, I could have this much sooner than I actually get it. And scouting with this factory, because if you're going pure bio, you don't need to keep your factory alive after you make your first starport, and definitely not after you make a second starport. But I believe most Terrans choose to stay on 1 star. Okay, he is actually going for 2 starports, but a lot of Terrans just get 1 starport for a long time. And this always, it kind of freaks me out, because, like, they fly it over, they get a lot of intel. But yeah, I'm finally getting Templars out. Templars are going to be really good. That first engagement really freaked me out, because, like, in my head, I didn't really think, oh, it was because of these rocks. All I kind of saw was he out-macroed me and killed my army. So I didn't realize that I'm actually in a little bit better position, that you know, my army composition's good. I just was stupid with my micro. Stupid with my micro. The reason I transfer right here is because I just heard the mineral field depleted sound, and when you hear that, you may as well transfer some workers over and get ideal saturation on your 3rd or 4th or whatever base you're on. That way, this will last a little bit longer, and you'll mine this really efficiently. You'll just keep a higher income for longer. Finally moving up to Double Forge. I tend to delay Double Forge a lot in favor of more Colossus and Templar. And I'm also getting Charge. Because my first army that you saw me throw away was very Zealot light. I feel like I didn't have enough Zealots, so now I'm making my Zealots a little stronger. Getting just a couple of cannons to defend drops. He hasn't been aggressive with drops yet, but yeah. And you can see right here, like, this is way oversaturated now. And it's a good thing that I transferred when I did, so this isn't even worse than it is now. So now when I do spot this, it won't be as urgent to transfer it away. Won't be as urgent. Got some High Templar accruing energy. 5 High Templar is a good number. Like, you could really get away with just 3 High Templar. And if you land some money storms, then you'll be fine. The flip side of that is if you whiff your storms, you kind of have to back off because you won't have energy for more. Whereas with 5, you give yourself a little leeway. Anything more than that is starting to rely really heavily on them, and you're not going to have gas for things like Stalkers and Colossus. Or upgrades. There's a drop coming in. This is kind of a funky drop. Drops aren't as good in Wings of Liberty, just because medevacs aren't as good. I shouldn't say drops aren't as good, but medevacs aren't as good, so drops are harder to do. Yeah, that was... Terrans sometimes do that when they haven't dropped all game, and now it gets to where the Protoss is on 4 bases, and they kind of do these half-hearted drops. Like, he shouldn't even be dropping here. He should be dropping down here. He could drop, like, where my units ended up warping in, and attack my probes from this angle and circumvent these cannons. And, like, if he scanned or did one of his... cancel that at the last second, which was good. I'm able to take out that medevac again because, medevacs aren't as good, they aren't as fast. And you can see how this is kind of like playing on slow mode. In Heart of the Swarm, I never would have been able to do that, but this is just making it a little easier. Just making it a little easier. I'm having a hard time finding things to spend my Chrono Boost on, as you can see. I've got one Nexus doing an okay job of it, but my other 2 are pretty high on energy. One of them is even completely full. Rebuilding this. But right now I'm just trying to move up to, yeah, I've already got my Death Ball. I'm just finishing up +3 and +1, and I'll do a 3-1 timing. Always good to time your attacks around upgrades. But yeah, my army composition is ideal. I just don't want to move out before my upgrades finish, because then your upgrades were pretty pointless if you move out before they finish. Okay, now I should be moving out any second after I start 2-1. Good to get those shield upgrades. You know, they're not too huge of a investment, so it's always good to get them. Blink can also be good to get late game. Now, hopefully I do a better job of positioning my arm before moving in. Because right now, like my okay, well I'm all balled up now, so as long as I put my zealots in front, I'll be fine. As long as I put my zealots in front, I'll be fine. The other thing is if he has ghosts, then this could get... Whoa, that's a lot of Vikings. I was not expecting the Vikings to be right there. That was just... Oh, that Colossus micro was just stupid. I did end up killing a lot of them. And that was just not great. I don't... like... Here, let's see why he was doing that. Okay. Okay, that does kind of make sense. But it was just, I thought these Vikings would be like back here, behind his army. That's kind of a good spot to have him, because like, if your army moves up this path, then exactly what you saw will happen. Where Vikings get a ton of shots off, and they're able to just back off here. He could have microed those back a lot sooner, and it would have been good for him. But as it was, there just wasn't much for me to do. And he still has all of his, ghosts out. I could back off right here. I mean, I've delayed his 4th. I have a 4th. Okay, I am choosing to back off. That's probably good. Probably a good call. Because so long as I'm keeping him a base behind me, then I'm in a good position. Especially as a Protoss, because I mean, my upgrades are going to keep getting better. And he's just going to get to 3-3. Whereas I'm going to get to 3-3-3. Which is pretty strong. Pretty strong. Throwing down more gateways. This is kind of a weird position to put down gateways, but I mean, I don't know. I did it. Too late now. I'm not sure whether I think it's bad or not. Because like if he drops here, or if he attacks here, then it takes a while to kill off 4 gateways, a nexus, and a bunch of pylons. And that delays him being able to move down and kill my 3rd. Whereas if it's just a nexus, then it, you know, he's able to just kill that really quick, run down here and kill this really quick. It's kind of like having a planetary instead of just a orbital. So if he's able to run in here, I'm like, well, too late for me to respond to that. I was way too many units, so I decided to try and make something happen over here. Storm's going down, feedback's going down, but where's my detection? Where's my detection? Where is my detection? I had no observers on the field at all. And there's a bunch of cloaked ghosts hitting away at my army, and they just EMP'd everything, so I lost my ability to storm. You can see nothing has shields right now. Oh, this was not a great trade. Let's look at the... we haven't been looking at the resources lost, but as you can see, I'm behind. I think... yeah. See, before... okay, here, let's watch this. This is cool. So, I'm a little bit behind, and then I get ahead, but then because of ghosts and EMPs, I start falling behind. And I actually could have backed out the second I saw ghosts, and I would have been even. This is actually exactly what I said you should do in one of my last videos with ghosts. It's when you see your army get carpet bombed by EMPs, you just back out. And you can see exactly why. I had traded evenly. I actually traded beneficially and evened up the score, but then I stayed, and I lost way more than I needed to. So if I just backed out there, I would have been in a much better position. The one thing that's saving me is that, look how long it took him to clean that up. If those 4 gateways hadn't been there, he easily could have come down here and killed my 3rd base off. So I actually think that was a good decision by me to put gateways there. Making your bases harder to burn through is good. And, you know, cannons really aren't actually that great. If they have a lot of DPS, cannons will melt right away because they don't have much HP. Whereas gateways are always just going to take a long time to burn through. Let's see, what's he making? Keeping his ghost production, lots of marauders still, just a few marines to supplement in there. Good composition by him. double medevac and double Viking production. Not getting upgrades for... Oh wait, actually, I think he is. Where's a Viking? Where's a Viking? Does he not have a Viking? Okay, well, we'll check. I can't remember if... Okay, yeah, he maxed out his air weapons. That's really good, because Vikings are way better if you get the attack upgrade versus Colossus. Like, the armor doesn't matter too much, but that damage upgrade is very important to get. Keep up a solid ghost count. This is what you need to do if you want to beat Protoss. Be good with ghosts and always keep a solid number of ghosts in army. I mean, for one thing, they're just good units. They do 26 damage versus light melt zealots and just 13 damage overall. Whereas Marine just does 9 damage. They attack a little bit slower. Yeah, just 1.5 versus 0.86, so half the attack speed of Marines, but still do a solid amount of damage. Solid amount of damage. Good anti-light unit. A few Colossus, keeping around that 5 to 6 High Templar range, so that's good. And I'm managing to out-expand him. He really should have been more aggressive with his drops. He's just letting me take bases. Like, obviously I'm keeping good control of the center here, so I can respond quickly, so it's not easy for him to put on aggression, but still. He's kind of waiting for me to make a move, which I think is a weird thing to do as a Terran. Usually Terrans I play are much more aggressive than this, unless they're playing mech. So, this is a little odd, in my opinion. This is a little odd, but I won't complain. I won't complain. What I did in the middle of one of those fights was I noticed that my money was getting really high, so I decided, and I was maxed out, like I couldn't throw down more units, so I went ahead and I got more production. I'm kind of finishing up the whole production train here by getting more gateways, but this way I can actually replenish my Colossus count instantly. If I lose 3 Colossus, it's not wait, how long does it take? It's not wait like 4 minutes to get 3 Colossus, it's wait 1 and a bit minutes to get 3 Colossus back out. So that's good. And I think, yeah, I finished 3-3 upgrades now. So my upgrades are now, you know, considerable. He's on 3-3, but I just think that Protoss upgrades are better than Terran upgrades. Just because of how much HP we have, and we have a comparable amount of DPS. Throwing away a few SCVs. Yeah, he could, I mean, in the late game, you really don't need 55 SCVs anymore, so that's a good decision. 60 to 70 probes is good. At this point, 60. So, like, when I lost probes to those drops, it was a good thing that I didn't replenish them too much. He's coming up with one of these attacks, and I'm kind of expecting him to come down here and attack this base also. So my thought process is I'm going to crush this thing, and then I'm going to attack up here. But he actually only attacks with 1 strike force, which I don't understand, because usually a Terran will attack in 2 places. But I mean, he still brought enough firepower to kill my Nexus, which would have been more damaging if I didn't also have a 5th base over here. And so now he's choosing to send 4. What's he going to do? Oh my god, do we have 4 nukes? What the hell? Is he going to nuke my, Well, it's okay. I'll probably see this. Come on. Yeah, see? I'm too good for this. And besides, 1 nuke... Oh man, there's 4 nukes? That doesn't kill a Nexus, does it? That doesn't kill a Nexus, does it? Oh my god, it does kill a Nexus. Luckily, this thing's coming back down, so I'm just going to put all my probes back over here. Oh, a couple of EMPs just hit, though. And I'm not splitting my High Templar up like I said you need to. I'm not splitting my High Templar up. If you split them up, then, you know, all of a sudden it takes 5 EMPs instead of 1 EMP to knock out your storm capability. This time I do have detection, though. I swear I do. Where's my detection? Okay, I don't have detection. But I made detection at one point and then I lost it. So my entire army just got carpet bombed by EMPs again. Oh my god. This time, though, I have way better upgrades. Okay, I have way better upgrades. That was cool. That worked out. I'm happy. See, the thing is, he just threw away a big chunk of his army to kill off my bases, and I didn't lose anything to it. So if we had engaged before that, then those EMPs would have made the difference, and I probably would have lost that. I definitely would have lost that. but because he threw away his army right before, and I was able to get storms off before he EMP'd. I didn't get a lot of storms off, but I stormed, then he EMP'd, and then I got all of these Archons, so it actually wasn't that bad. That was not ideal EMP edge for him. Not ideal for me either, but because he lost his army, and because we both had non-ideal things happen, I still win. Just because he had that one extra bad thing happen. Luckily these ghosts didn't have too much energy, because these are the same ghosts that killed my Nexus over here, so I actually see that they run out of energy, and once I see that, I warp in a whole bunch of Stalkers to take care of this, because I don't want them to take down Nexus. 4 ghosts can actually kill Nexus fairly quickly, as you see. The shields are almost gone. Oh man, I'm killing his production. I don't want to attack down here, even though this is a mining base. I figure that it'll have this decently defended, and like it's a planetary fortress, so I'll have plenty of money to repair that. And if I do that, he'll be able to rebuild with all of this infrastructure. So I'd rather try and get in here and kill his infrastructure. Like you see how he's not just running out to my army, he's massing units back here as I kill stuff. So I'm running around with my Stalkers because I got Blink and I'm trying to kill off Vikings wherever I can. He's being really smart. He's splitting up his Vikings in 2 different locations and sniping down my Colossus. I can't keep my Archons and Blink Stalkers in good enough positions to that was the last one that went down. But luckily I have these 3 Robos back here. So I have 2 Colossus building and 2 others that just finished. So I'm doing okay. Doing okay. I don't know whether Archon Stalker is that good against massive numbers of 3-3 Marauders, especially if he gets this conflict. I do not think I was looking right now. Where am I looking? Yeah, I was doing stuff over here. Because I didn't realize how much stuff he had, and then I finally noticed my army at some point. Yeah, I just pulled it back. I accidentally turned off the player cam. But yeah. I also started making Void Rays because I saw how heavily he was going into Marauder. So I was like, you know what? If you're making heavy Marauders, then I'll just make Void Rays. And Void Ray is pretty good against units that don't shoot up. And it wasn't like I saw he was making a lot of Marauders and then I threw down Starports. I saw that I had a lot of money and that I could afford more production, so I prepared for that tech switch. If you don't have the tech, you're not going to be able to tech switch. It just doesn't work like that. But I prepared for the future, the same way I prepared for the future with 3 Robo Bays. This is going pretty well though. He lost most of his army. All he really has is this base, like all production. And you see how he's doing the same thing. He's putting in production defensive structures to make this base just harder to get through. Like it chokes up my units, makes it a lot more that I have to kill. Yeah, if we look at the units, yeah, he's got almost nothing. I've got Void Rays, Colossus, and Archons, and Marines and Marauders are just not going to be able to do this. He drags it out a little bit, but I mean, at this point, I've won. At this point, I've won. Definitely need to be more careful about my positioning before fights, because that is just so crucial as a pro boss. My micro with early gas units like Immortals to keep them alive so that they can continue to be important later on. Like, another Immortal and good positioning, I think this fight would have gone my way. He didn't have that many units that survived. So with both good positioning and good early micro, I think I could have crushed that. And in case I didn't talk about it, the reason that I moved out right here and threw my units in the first place when I saw him moving out here is because what Terrans tend to do is they'll move out with this big force while I want to be doing my timing attack, because like I've sacrificed upgrades and tech. But the problem is they come around my front, they get this concave, so I can't run down the ramp. I want them to run up the ramp. They scan, they see I have a whole bunch of units and not a whole bunch of tech, and they just back off. And I just missed my window because I've waited around here for them to attack. So I moved out because I wanted to catch him off guard. I knew he was going to back off if he got down here. So I ran out here to try and catch him off guard, but instead of just positioning here, I split my units and got mauled. But I still think that was correct for me to move out here. And also, when you get carbon bombed by EMPs, just move away. Don't stay and fight. There's no reason to. You're going to just lose units, and that resources loss graph is going to go wildly out of your favor. Yeah, I hope that was a good game to watch. I know I enjoyed that. I always really enjoy playing high players. I think if we look at APM, what's APM? I was in complete tryhard mode. Like, I wouldn't actually have played any worse if my APM was lower, but I was just trying to play fast because I really wanted to win. His APM was oddly low for how many games he played and the fact that he was a Masters player. But he was obviously very calm, not just spamming the keyboard to try and get that APM up. It's never my motivation to get a high APM. I always think it's funny when I do, because I know what that means. I know it means that I was in tryhard mode. I know it means that I was, getting more stressed out than I should have been. I wasn't really stressed out in this game, but close to stressed out. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.